Hello, everybody. Today is one of those days where what I'm recording is bittersweet. 100 years ago, a beautiful little girl was born to two people who did their best to love and to laugh, and they gave that same legacy to that little girl. And that little girl went on to mother some of the most interesting people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Those people were my family, my mother, my aunts and uncles. So I'm gonna kind of tell a circular story, I guess. Well, I'm gonna go in a circle anyway. You'll see, it'll fit eventually. I'm not the most eloquent of speakers, so I'm just gonna ask that you bear with me. I learned a lot of things from Gladys Levine Ellenberg. One of the first things that I learned was I'm okay, no matter whether I can see or I can't, no matter whether I've got money or I don't. I'm accepted and I'm loved, and that was the thing that she gave me. That was the legacy that she gave me. She was the most amazing, wonderful friend, and she always knew what to say and when to say it and how you needed it said. Sometimes it came with a cup of coffee, like the one I'm holding in my hand. Sometimes it came with a plate of potato gravy. And sometimes it came with a hand that moved slowly back and forth over the top of your hair. But either way, you knew you were loved. One of the best things about her was if she hadn't seen you in a while, she would walk up and just wrap herself around you. Not one of those little church lady pat hugs, but no. She would absolutely wrap you in a hug. And it felt good, and she smelled good. And that scent of vanilla that never quite left her skin just seemed to cover you. You knew it was going to be okay no matter what was wrong. If you had a fight and your best friend hated you and you hated your best friend, she was wise enough to know that in 5 minutes you guys would be talking and playing again. But she didn't tell you that you were foolish because you were crying. No. What she would say was, just give it time, hon. You'll see. And I did, so many times. As I said, she gave birth to some amazing people. Broken, flawed, beautiful people. I didn't appreciate that or even recognize it when I was a child. When I was a child, I thought, oh my God, this is the most messed up family ever. And in some ways we are. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate the flaws and the beauty in the glass that's broken. My Aunt Glenda was first to leave us, and what I remember of her was a very tall, warm, deep, rich voice who said to a 3-year-old little girl, "It's okay. Even if they don't want to play with you, don't worry about it, hon. I'll play with you." Who took a piece of fabric and made a toy from it because she knew that a little girl needed a friend. A little girl needed someone to tell her, hey, I'll play with you. It's okay. And she did. And a woman with the sensitivity to take a little girl and ride her around in the truck, because sometimes when you're 3 and the world is just messed up, all you want is your bob. And I'll get to that in a minute. But she did. She drove up and down the road past a fence just so a little girl could wave at her bob. Because that little girl didn't understand what that fence meant. The only thing she knew was that her Bob was behind it. Glenda had the warmth and the sensitivity to know how much that fence hurt. But she had the wisdom to know that sometimes nothing will do but Bob. So, Aunt Glenda, thank you. The second one to leave us was my Uncle W.D. And oh man, what a personality he was. Red hair, spitfire temper, yet one of the most amazing people. Oh my goodness. I can't see a bar of lava soap without thinking of him. Quick to laugh, quick to get mad. He'd tell you exactly what he thought, when he thought it, and how he thought it. And if you liked it, fine. If you didn't, well. He would also take apart a chainsaw right in the middle of the living room floor. Just one of his quirks, I guess. But he loved his family. And he used to say that the things that you want in life are worked for. Because when you work for it, you appreciate it a lot more. So that was him. The next was my Uncle Paul. My Uncle Paul was... My Uncle Paul was an interesting person. Quiet, for the most part. But when his demons got a hold of him, and God knows he had some, he was the kind to show you exactly what he was feeling. If he was hurt, you knew it. If he was happy, you knew it. If he was mad, oh boy, you knew it. But the one thing that he taught me was life's better with chocolate ice cream. I remember sitting on the porch with a bowl of chocolate ice cream, trying to figure out why the world was the way it was. And he used to say, I don't have the answers for it. But that ice cream sure does go down good, don't it? And I spent a lot of days listening to him blather, listening to him cry, watching him when the demon of alcohol took possession of him and wouldn't let him go for days on end. But then seeing the quiet, sensitive, caring person that he could be. The one who thought enough that he would bring you that chocolate ice cream just because he knew you liked it. Or always finding just that right slice of a yellow meated watermelon, the one you liked best. That was Uncle Paul. And that lesson was enforced again. Even though we're broken, even though we're flawed, it's okay. It's okay. We're loved anyway. The next one, and if I get these out of order, somebody in my family can correct me. I'm not really good at this. The next one was my mom, Margie. Oh, some of Margie's lessons I really didn't want to learn, but life doesn't always work the way we want it to. She was hard to get along with a lot of times. And there were times when I wasn't sure I was going to make it. But Grandma kept encouraging me. She kept telling me, It'll be okay. One day you'll be grown, and one day you'll understand things that you don't understand now. And I used to think, that's the craziest thing. I'm not going to understand nothing because this woman's just mean. But Grandma was never wrong. The lesson I got from Margie. I have to be careful with this one. Help people if you've got it. My mom did this, but not so much cheerfully. Sometimes she would grumble about it. The whole time she's grumbling and griping about having to bail somebody out, she's reaching for stuff on the top shelf and pushing things aside so she can reach even further back to get something that she knows that person needed. And that was what I learned from her. Feed the ones who are hungry, blanket the ones who are cold. That was the best thing I got from her. And I'm pretty sure she got that lesson from my grandma. Next was my Aunt Donna. And I loved me some Aunt Donna. I did. When I was a little kid, Donna was my buddy. Oh boy, howdy. I loved being with her. Me, her, a transistor radio, walking around in my little shorts and my t-shirt, my flip-flops, thinking I was all the world because Aunt Donna played with me. Aunt Donna listened to music with me. Aunt Donna didn't treat me like the blind kid. Aunt Donna just treated me like me. And every one of her babies, when they were born, she placed them in my arms. Not with the, oh my God, what if she hurts them? Or what if she drops them? No, she didn't do that. She just walked up and put that baby in my arms. Here, hold this. That's what she'd tell me. Donna was a lot like Grandma when I was young. And there were things that I didn't understand about her. And it was okay. I loved her, and she loved me, and I knew it. When I went to college, I could call her and talk to her about anything, and she'd listen. She'd tell me how her day was, and we'd find something to laugh about because, well, that seems to be the one thing that this family does. We find something to laugh about. What I learned from Donna is no matter how poor you are, no matter how down you seem to be, there's always hope. There's always a way to look out the window. There's always just that right song that'll come on the radio. And from her, I learned to appreciate those things. Yesterday, we lost my Uncle Bobby. My Bob. An interesting one, that one. My Uncle Bob. Because when I was little, I don't think there was anything better than him, except maybe cornbread. And even then, I have to kind of think about it. Bobby was quiet, didn't say much. But my best memory of him was being really scared to pull a tooth, and I mean terrified, because my mom was going to tie a string around it and tie the other end to a door and slam the door, and I knew if she did it was going to hurt. Oh my gosh, I had this feeling of dread that just welled up in my 6-year-old soul, and I wouldn't let her touch me because it was going to hurt. So my Uncle Bob, my Bobby, sat with a 6-year-old on his lap, and I don't even remember what he said, but whatever it was funny. The next thing I know, mouth open, I'm laughing, tooth gone. See, that didn't hurt as bad as you thought it would, did it? He taught me that sometimes, in order to get past the fear of pain, you have to let yourself be distracted by something funny. He was the first person I knew who had a telephone in his house that had blind amenities. It had Braille on it and large raised print, and it talked, and I thought that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I spent a lot of time with him. My Uncle JT, who's still with us, taught me to sing my pain. Nothing a song couldn't fix. Well, maybe not fix, but at least make the heart feel better. You could either cry it out, or laugh it off, or just let the words take you somewhere for a minute. I remember when I was a kid, him playing his harmonica, or just singing with him some song we heard on the radio or something. And he can sing, y'all. Let me tell you that. Music soothes the savage. That's what I get from him. And my Aunt Mary, ooh, I have to admit, as a little kid, I don't think I appreciated Aunt Mary very much. To be honest, I didn't know her, and she really didn't know me. I was a kid she saw on family gatherings, but we didn't know each other. Not really. What I got from my Aunt Mary, I got as an adult, because this beautiful woman stepped in after my mom died and became the closest thing to a mother I've got now. And she gave me encouragement. And I got to see what a wonderfully amazing person she is. How strong she is. How courageous she was. How determined she was. And that's something that all of Gladys's kids had in common. Determination. You weren't going to convince any of them that they couldn't do something if they wanted to, because they were going to, whether you liked it or not. And so, we come back around to Grandma. Grandma, happy birthday today. You would have been 100 today. And I like to think about all the things that you would have seen in your lifetime. All of the new inventions and electric stuff and cars. Well, I mean, all those things I suppose were around because she was born in 21. But just thinking about all the things, airplanes and computers and microwaves and all those things, stoves that didn't run on wood or coal, Pampers and Huggies and so forth and so on. So many things to see. Television, radio, so many things to experience. Probably one of the quickest centuries ever as far as invention and things of that nature. Grandma, you gave me love and acceptance. You gave me a mother's hand and heart. And you believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. What you gave your children, you so freely gave to me. And I don't have words enough to tell you how thankful I am. So I mourn the loss of my Bob and my mama, my Aunt Donna, my Aunt Glenda, my Uncle WD, my Uncle Paul. But I celebrate the life who gave them life, who loved those children, who raised those children, and who turned them into the people that they were. beautifully flawed, sometimes broken. But I'll tell you something. You didn't want to mess with them. Because no matter if they were arguing amongst themselves, you say one thing against one of them and you had to deal with all of them. And that's just how it was. Grandma, in some weird way, you gave them the spirit of unity, and they gave it back in full measure. Thank you for being the wonderful person you were. Thank you for raising the people you raised. And thank you for loving me. Happy birthday. And Uncle Bob, there's a lemon cake we gotta finish one of these days. And, no, pulling that tooth really didn't hurt, but it was still scary. Thanks for making me laugh.